The medium as a message is a quote by Marshall McLuhan, and I really like it because it gives us an awful lot of insight about how we consume media and how what we consume as media affects the way we view the world. The general idea behind the quote is that one medium could have more of an effect on society than any message passed through it ever could. Now, since that doesn't really explain it that well, for example, I'm going to give you an example. For example, take the television. The television has a greater effect on society than any one program passed through it ever could. For over half a century now, it has been the fastest way of getting images and audio to the masses. It has reshaped the way we consume media. From the very verbal and literature-focused days of the past, where we would have to receive all our news and entertainment through the power of language, to an utterly surrounding experience that is both audio and visual. For contrast, take the three experiences of reading, listening, and watching. You probably do all three every day, but you will have to admit that they are three very different experiences and done under very different circumstances. But this example can also be best seen through journalism. In the days of the past, we would receive all our information through text, on black and white, through one journalist's prescription. Instead of reading about a country's revolution struggle through one journalist's perspective, we can now see it live, forming our own opinion on the events at hand. And changing the way we actually view ourselves because we can actually empathise with what's being shown in front of us, and utterly changing the way we view the world. But if you want a more personal change about how the television has affected your lives, imagine the house of some of your older relatives. There's probably something like this. There are two chairs facing towards each other, like in my grandparents' house, perfectly tuned for listening and talking. But if you go into any modern living room, you'll notice that all the furniture is converging on one point, the television. And the way it has affected our environment is a massive way of how a medium has affected our lives. This can be seen with new mediums, where certain businesses will be discouraged, shamed, or not going to if they do not supply power or wireless connection. This can be mainly seen through coffee shops, and that has led to new industries such as custom service rising in the past year. Marshall McLuhan in his day was looking at the change between literature and onto television, for he was around in the 70s. But the good thing about this quote is it can be transferred onto the new mediums of writing today. One of the main ones of that is social media and the internet. The internet, the new thing the internet as a medium has brought us is the inclusion of interactivity. The characteristics of the internet allow any event in the world to be shared almost instantly and then commented upon. This new wave of different perspectives has now come with has now utterly changed the message in the world we live in. For instead of just consuming, you're also adding something in. Now, any event that happens in the world, was once a one-sided article, can now be argued, criticised, fact-checked, and most importantly, and what you probably spend most of your time doing today, mocked. But one of the interesting things that is updated from television is the change from television video onto online video. It has changed for the controller is now instantly in your hand. When you're watching TV, you are barely ever holding the remote. You're normally sitting on the couch, relaxed, and sitting through whatever's in front of you. But now, with the new medium of the internet, you're now in control. And that means that any consumers, their attention spans seem to get shorter, for they now have the ability to move on to something more interesting, more entertaining, and more fast-paced. This has actually changed the message itself through the medium. For a new medium must keep the reader's attention, for they now have the power to just turn it off or find something new or interesting. This has added to an awful lot of competition in media. But this is also true for advertising. Once a staple of television has now become criticised, mocked, and is failing in the internet space, for the user now has the ability to skip or ad block. Very new characteristics of the medium. This is just the tip of the iceberg about why I like this quote. It is a provocative quote. It is insightful to the way we consume media and the way media affects our lives. I hope you look into this quote because it is very interesting. Anyway, I'm done being Britney Spears. Spank you.